Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of TGC Unfiltered. This is episode 5. On the previous episode, I re-listened and did the review for Paramore's sophomore record, Riot, which I had very, very good things, a glowing review for that record. And now, today on episode 5, I'm going to be taking you all the way back to 2004. The early 2000s, because I'm going to be doing a review of the first studio album by Alter Bridge, One Day Remains. Of course, the members of Alter Bridge, minus lead vocalist Miles Kennedy, were, of course, all in Creed. And, you know, they had their own issues, plenty of issues that are well documented. You can look up that story on your own time. With Creed frontman Scott Stapp. And so he was booted from the lineup. They found Miles, came together, made Alter Bridge, and One Day Remains was their first record. Now, the song Open Your Eyes was one of the first songs that, when I was first starting to shape my own music taste, it was one of the first songs that I found that I just fell in love with. But in saying that, no matter how much I love that song and have super amounts of nostalgia for it, I never actually jumped into One Day Remains as a full length. So I know Open Your Eyes, and of course I know the album version of Metalingus, which of course all wrestling fans know as Edge, or Adam Copeland now, going by his real name in AEW. We know that as his theme song, and like the band recognizes that as his theme song, as Adam has a good relationship with the band members. So yeah, I'm very familiar with both of those songs. And like I said, the album version of Metalingus as well. And of course, that's also the most streamed song on this record, which I'm surprised about because I know that WWE has their own mix of the song that is different, obviously, starts in a different spot. So you would assume that would be streamed more than this version, but I don't know. But regardless, I'm rambling at this point, regardless, Creed obviously has come back and is taking the world by storm, and people love Creed now, apparently. I don't know. I still don't really care for Creed. They've got a couple of songs I think are fine. Totally fine. And some songs that, even if I think they're bad, they're kind of like with that one 3 Days Grace song from Explosions that I hate, but it's so bad it just makes me laugh. Creed has songs like that too. Like, I don't like them. I think they're super bad, but they're funny bad. So, should I start giving points to bands for their reviews and shit if they're funny bad? I mean, at least you're making me laugh. At least you're getting that kind of positive reaction, even if I'm laughing at you and not with you. Regardless, like I said, I'm rambling at this point. But yeah, so Creed's doing very well. Got their own like reunion tour and stuff like that, and God, who knows? They might do another album. Who the fuck knows? I know they had material before they disbanded again in the late 2000s, so who knows? But yeah, so episode number 5 of TGC Unfiltered, One Day Remains, the first studio album by Alter Bridge. Let's jump into it. Let's go. And again, like I said, I have no idea what to expect outside of those two songs, though I do remember hearing that apparently this does just feel like Creed with a different vocalist, which I know Alter Bridge would move away from later, but yeah, I have heard that this does feel like Creed with a different vocalist, so we'll see. But the opening track is Find the Real, so we will jump into it. This feels like Alter Bridge. That's what feels like Alter Bridge. Great solo from Mark. His guitar tone is so good. Okay, Find the Real. It's a solid way to open up the record. It kicks off hard and fast, and they don't let up really at all. At the end of the day, it also sounds exactly like basically everything else I've heard of Alter Bridge. And yeah, like everyone sounds good. You know, Everyone sounds good. Like I said, the guitar tone on this record sounds great. You know, everyone has spots throughout the song that you can pick out and be like, okay, like they're doing some cool things here. And yeah, I did want to say that, like, Miles Kennedy is definitely, like, he's definitely a better vocalist than Scott Stapp. Like, I don't even particularly have that much of an issue with Scott's vocals, but I think the best way I've ever heard his vocals described is that he's just doing a bad Eddie Vedder impression. And it's like, he is, right? And, like, I think at the end of the day, that's why people have an issue with Eddie's vocals, especially now, is because so many, like, after Pearl Jam really got huge, so many frontmen tried to do, again, a bad Eddie Vedder impression with their own vocals, you know? And you got that with Scott, and sometimes it worked just fine. Other times you get vocal performances that are so bad they're funny, like with Arms Wide Open. But God, I love doing that impression of Scott doing an impression of Eddie, though, for that song. Like, that is, yeah, I don't care. I love doing that because it's funny. It's like something I can just do that make my sister laugh no matter what. It's just so funny. But yeah, and even though I do think at parts with Find the Real, I get a very Chris Cornell kind of vocal style from Miles, I don't think it's clearly not Miles doing an impression of Chris Cornell, but instead, it's just, again, you can hear some similarities in their styles and their voices. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, because also Chris Cornell has the best voice in grunge, and I will not hear any arguments. There's no debates. It's obvious, like, he's not doing an impression of Chris, but there's similar vocal styles and voices. And yeah, it works really well. Find the Real is, like I said, a solid way to open, and I feel like even just from, like, this opening track on One Day Remains, it's pretty clear that, like, you know, it feels like a style that is still being done today, actually, to a much smaller scale, but you could still imagine this being done, you know, to some degree, at least some similarities in, like, say, Alter Bridge's current material, or something, but, or in acts, or through acts like Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen, and stuff like that, you know. You can hear similarities there, and it's, again, it doesn't feel totally out of place now, so it doesn't feel totally dated, at least not this first song. We'll see if the rest of the record feels dated. It might. There is that possibility. But yeah, no, like, the first song, I think is solid. Obviously, like, it's not something that I would come back to very often anymore, just because, like, it's not the style that, again, it's not a style I go out of my way for anymore, but it's still good. I still like it a lot, and it's, like I said, a very solid way to open up the record. How do I rank it, though? Again, I guess because I said I should start doing this at the beginning of these videos. For those of you who this is your first TGC Unfiltered, my scale for ranking, it is 0 out of 10, and my scale is, personally, 10 out of 10 is what I find to be as close to objectively, like, perfect. Again, personally for me, I guess I shouldn't even use objectively, but what I find to be as close to perfect as possible, that's a 10 out of 10. A 0 out of 10 is as close to, like, objectively bad as I think it can get. And then a 5 out of 10 is right in the middle, not good, not bad, I'm indifferent towards it. And then anything less than a 5 out of 10, anything less than a 5, there's things I actually do not like about this song. Anything greater than a 5, there's things I do like about it. And also, I don't do any of, like, oh, here's a quarter score, or, like, 3/4 of a score, or whatever. I do either a full score or a half a score. I don't mess with any, like, 0.25s or 0.75s or whatever. No, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing like a 6.2 for a song on a rating. No. But that's the scale. And how do I rank Find the Real? As a solid way to open, if I look at other solid ways to open for other Unfiltered episodes, on Riot, I gave its opener an 8.5 out of 10. I gave the opener on Only by the Night a 6 out of 10. And I gave the opener on 1X an 8 out of 10. And, at least as of right now, you know what? Yeah, I kind of agree with, like, some of those other ratings for the past Unfiltered episodes with opening tracks. I think I agree. I think I'm going to give Find the Real a solid 8 out of 10. Again, it could change. But for now, Find the Real will be an 8 out of 10. But now we move on to track number 2, which is the title track, One Day Remains. And again, like with Find the Real, I've never listened to this song, so I'm going in blind. Again, outside of 2 tracks on this 11-track, 55-minute record, which I was surprised, because for 11 tracks, that's actually quite long. But regardless, for this record, yeah, I only know 2 tracks. So basically the entire record's blind. But title track, here we go. Ooh, I like that guitar and the drums here in the intro. The instrumental's killer on this track. Again, I really like this solo. Okay, so title track, One Day Remains. Again, like I said, it's another very solid song. It immediately still feels in line with the opening track. And I do like it quite a bit. I think I prefer the instrumental here. Well, I prefer the instrumental as a whole with this song. I prefer the solo and the guitar work for the I prefer the solo in Find the Real. And I do think Find the Real flows a bit better, and I feel like I'd want to come back to it a little bit more. So I don't have much else to say for this track, to be honest. But I think I would rank it just slightly below Find the Real. I'm going to give the title track 7.5 out of 10. But now we go to one of the 2 tracks that I do know from the record, of course. And that is the one song that stuck with me for a long time. And that is Open Your Eyes. I have a lot of, like, nostalgic attachment to this song, so I'll try to make sure that doesn't really cloud any judgment on it with how I feel about it now. But yeah, let's get into Open Your Eyes. God, just this opening instrumental just... oh, it hits me. I love this bridge. Another great solo here. I love the vocals here with the harmonies. Open Your Eyes. Yeah, like I said, it was, technically speaking, it was the second song from the record I heard, right? But, like, I didn't hear the album version of Metalingus until after Open Your Eyes. So it was the first proper version of a song I heard from the album. It was the first song that I fell in love with from the band. And again, I have so much nostalgia for it. It means so much to me. And, you know, it was, again, one of the first songs that when I was first starting to shape my own music taste that I fell in love with. So it'll always have that special place in my heart. And I still love it. I do. I do think that it's the first song that, to me, does scream a bit more This Is Creed with a new vocalist. Like, Open Your Eyes sonically feels like some of those bigger Creed hits. But, like, I don't think that's an issue. Because, again, I don't entirely hate Creed. I don't like the band, and I don't really like everything they did, like, together. But I do think they do have some songs that I like, and so if And so if Open Your Eyes happens to feel like some of the songs I do like from Creed, so be it. And again, I think regardless, whether that's true or not, you have Miles Kennedy singing, and like he is just a better vocalist and does a great job with the track as well. So yeah. And I think it easily is like my favorite on the record so far. What do I rank it? Well, if Find the Real and One Day Remains are very close to about the same, with Find the Real being just a bit higher at an 8 out of 10, so One Day Remains is a 7.5. Open Your Eyes, I think I can solidly put at a 9 out of 10. Does that feel right? Does 9 out of 10 feel right for Open Your Eyes? Yeah, I would do 9 out of 10. I really like the instrumental. I like the lyrics. I think everyone's doing a very great job. I love the entire bridge, and I think the solo is great. And the solo hits me harder in this song than Find the Real, and I like that solo a lot as well. And I would still come back to this song at any time, you know? Like, I still love this song. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. I don't know if I would go any higher, and I don't even think personally for Metalingus I'll go even higher than that. Like, I don't think so. I don't think a song on there is going to eclipse a 9 out of 10. But, yeah, I feel good about giving Open Your Eyes a 9 out of 10. But now, obviously, we move on to another song that I don't know, and that is Burn It Down. I know a few songs called Burn It Down by other bands that I like a lot, but this is not going to be that, obviously, so... but let's jump into it. A slower start, much slower start, bit of a different vibe. I do like the vocal here at the beginning. I'm kind of getting like Rooster vibes, like from Rooster from Dirt vibes from this, at least a little bit. I feel some similarities. Oh, I can tell everyone's gonna really come in now. There it is. Is that Mark providing harmonies? Like, I know he can sing, so it wouldn't surprise me. I like the harmonies a lot, though. And we're going to end with a guitar solo. And it sounds great. Sounds so good. I should mention, the Rooster vibes I got were only at the beginning. Burn It Down, I feel like Burn It Down is a song that should be, like, made for me. Like, from the way it opens all the way through to the end. I feel like it's, like, made for me, you know? Like... But I'll be honest, at the beginning, it wasn't doing a whole lot for me. Which is so weird, because, like, it also feels... The opening does give it, like, a... nice almost change of pace, at least a little bit, from the first 3 tracks on the record, and then it slowly works its way throughout the song into like more of that same kind of style we got in the first 3 tracks, and it works really well, and I do like it. But yeah, there is a part of me that just doesn't care for it as much as the first 3, if I'm being honest. And like, I don't... Again, I like the ending solo. I do think everyone's doing a good job still. But yeah, I don't know. There's something with it that I can't fully put into words that just isn't clicking with me, at least on the first listen here. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Still a very solid song, one I would come back to. And I certainly would not be mad if it came on, even if I didn't want to listen to it. So yeah. Still very solid song. But I think it's, as of right now, my least favorite of the first 4. But next up, we do move on to the only other song from the record that I've heard, and that is Metalingus. Of course, as I've already stated numerous times in the video as well, a different mix and recording of the song to what's used for Edge/Adam Copeland's wrestling theme. So... time to get into the album version of Metalingus. I love the opening to the album version of the song. It's so good. But I do also fully understand why WWE kicks off with what's coming up right now. I understand completely. I love those little rolls before the On This Day. Underrated part of the song. The bridge is great. Love the drums there. Right before the final chorus. Metalingus. You know, also, I did want to mention as well, it is really interesting that, you know, they do take that ending bit of instrumental, move that to the beginning, and cutting that into the On This Day, like the start of the chorus. And again, I completely understand why WWE does that, or I completely understand why that's done for Edge and Adam Copeland's theme in wrestling. I get it completely. It works. But God, you know, I do love this version of the song, the original. It just works, you know. I feel like this is easily the best drum performance on this album so far. So many great standout parts. Everyone else does sound good. The guitars are still good, but the guitars comparatively to every other song on the record so far are a bit more understated. But still sounds great. An absolute highlight, easy to understand why, you know, this is as big as it is. Do I think if it didn't have, like, the, like, connection with pro wrestling, that it would be as big? No, it wouldn't. It would not. But no, it's still very good. Like, I have no complaints. Like, I can't say anything bad about this song. It's just great. It's iconic. At least it's iconic to me, but again, wrestling fan, so, you know, yeah. But yeah. It's iconic to me. I love it. It's great. I do rate it very highly. Again, do I like it more than Open Your Eyes? Not really. But it's still very good. It's easily slots into number 2. Yeah, and I think it does still get an equal rating of a 9 out of 10. From here on out, it is a complete blind listen for me. So, let's get into the next song, Broken Wings. Okay. Another slower start. I like this guitar a lot at the beginning. Last time it was their longest song, and this isn't longer than Burn It Down, but it is the next longest. But yeah, I really like this guitar at the beginning. I like the transition to the chorus here. I love this chorus. So good. And then we drop everything back out and end the way we started with that lone guitar. Great. Honestly, holy crap. Look, I was going into this not expecting anything to come near how much I loved Open Your Eyes, or even come close to Metalingus for me, which I do hold lower to Open Your Eyes, but Broken Wings, I genuinely, I love that song. Wow, like, I was sitting here thinking while listening, like, I know I didn't say too much during the song, like I have for some other songs in other episodes, but, like, I was just sitting here thinking, I think the song goes above Open Your Eyes in the ranking. God. Yeah. It's so good. I think genuinely it's my favorite. Even removing my nostalgic attachment to Open Your Eyes, I think it's my favorite at this point. That really worked for me. So yeah, I'm gonna put Broken Wings at number 1. Genuinely, like, I love that. Do I get... I am going to bump Metalingus down to an 8.5 out of 10. And Broken Wings, I'm now going to have tied at a 9 out of 10 with Open Your Eyes. Because I do think I prefer the vocals in the verses of Open Your Eyes. I will say that. But the chorus is so good, and I just love what everyone's doing on Broken Wings as well. I think they're about equal, with me just preferring Broken Wings. And then that feels pretty good, yeah. And I still feel good with Metalingus being number 3 right now and at an 8.5. Because again, it's always been just below Open Your Eyes for me, anyway. But next we have track number 7, and then that is In Loving Memory. Again, another bit of a slower start here. The opening guitar kind of picks up where it left off with Broken Wings. Everyone comes in, but it's still softer. But they've picked it up in every song so far. So we'll see if they do it here. There it is. Like, they really picked it up here. About halfway through. I like this bridge a lot. Really like that ending. In Loving Memory, I like that a lot. It works for me. It works for me more than Burn It Down, which again kind of had a similar style at first. Like I said, I just really like that one. And I did want to mention that, well, obviously I do like everything on the record so far. I did really want to mention that even some of these longer songs, none of them have felt their length. And that's a very good thing. Because if you have like a 6-minute song, or if not longer, and it feels its length, it's going to just drag on. And yeah, none of the longer songs on here have. So that's definitely worth mentioning. But yeah, I like In Loving Memory a lot. And where do I rank it? I think for right now, I'm going to slide it into number 4, tied with Metalingus at an 8.5 out of 10. That feels good to me. But next up, we've got Down to My Last, track number 8. And this one picks up, again, hard and fast immediately. Kind of like the start of the record. I like the solo a lot. Oh, it's really good. I really like this one. Down to My Last. I really like it. I think it's a solid as hell song. And that's really all I gotta say, with not including what I said during the song. I just really like it. And I was thinking, ranking wise, Down to My Last really works for me. So I'm actually going to bump up Broken Wings and Open Your Eyes to a 9.5 out of 10. And then Down to My Last, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10, with it sliding in at number 3. But next up, we have track number 9, which is Watch Your Words. I like that fuzzy guitar tone at the beginning. This does kind of feel a bit more typical, like typical rock at the time, but I dig it. While it's still good, I think it's about the same quality as some of my lesser... I think it's about the same quality as some of the lesser received tracks for me personally on the record. It doesn't do a whole lot for me, but I do still like it. There are things I do really like about it. But I think it's probably my least favorite right now, probably does the least for me, but I think it's so deserving of a nice solid 7 out of 10, the same as Burn It Down. And that's where it'll sit. But now we have our penultimate song on the record, Shed My Skin. Another slower, softer start. And they get to everyone really coming in even faster for this one. This is already trying to remind me of some of what I liked earlier in the record for songs like Open Your Eyes, so I like that. At least a little bit, but I do like it. Great vocal performance, too. I love the vocals and the harmonies in this outro. So yeah, I like Shed My Skin. It's solid, but it doesn't do a whole lot for me. So I think I don't have too much to say about Shed My Skin, but what I can say right away is that ranking wise, I think it feels really good to put it also at a 7.5 out of 10. I would say right below the title track, One Day Remains. But then we go into our final song of the record, The End Is Here. A more quiet way to start. Build and build until everything explodes. So, can't wait for that. I like it quite a bit so far through the first chorus. Ooh, I like those rolls. Ooh, I really like this part of the instrumental here in the bridge. This is really cool. I like this. And we haven't had it at all on the record, so it feels very fresh. And then that cool thing from the bridge, the cool instrumental, comes back for the outro. I like that. I like that a lot. The End Is Near isn't my favorite song on the record, I'll be honest, but I think it's a very, very good way to close out the record. And again, I think with it being such a good way to kick off the record, I think it's equally good to end the record as Find the Real is to open the record. And I'm gonna put The End Is Near right above the opener Find the Real, but tied at an 8 out of 10. That feels very good, very, very right, and I like that. And there we go. That is Alter Bridge's first record, One Day Remains. There are parts that definitely feel like this is Creed with a different vocalist. But you know what? I think it's fine. I think they take the parts of their previous sound that worked, improve them a little bit, and you have some stuff that doesn't really feel like that either. So I think it's a good little mix. I think it's a solid way to open your new band's career. Again, it's not anywhere close to being my favorite record ever, but I think there's some genuinely very good material on here. A great way, again, to put out your first record. And like I said, I think it's solid. My official track ranking is my favorite song being Broken Wings at a 9.5 out of 10. Then right below it is Open Your Eyes, also at a 9.5 out of 10. Then down to my last at a 9 out of 10. Metalingus at an 8.5 out of 10. In Loving Memory at an 8.5 out of 10. The End Is Near at an 8 out of 10. Find the Real at an 8 out of 10. One Day Remains at a 7.5 out of 10. Shed My Skin at a 7.5 out of 10. Burn It Down at a 7 out of 10. And Watch Your Words at a 7 out of 10. And I don't have much else to say. That was my unscripted album review for Alter Bridge's first record, One Day Remains. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, share up on social media, do all that good stuff, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.